Hey, Cosmic Superstars, welcome to Honestly. My name is Teo. Now, before we get into today's topic, I really wanted to sort of just slide in a little disclaimer that this video might be triggering for some because today we are going to be talking about projections. And actually, I did a video a while back on projections, but that was more of a counter action thing, if that makes sense. I don't even know if that even makes sense. But yeah, I really wanted to talk about projections, especially while we're, in Venus retrograde. And for those of you who don't know, Venus retrograde or Venus is about love and how we receive love, give love, and yeah, how we really approach our relationships with other people. And it's not just, our romantic relationships, it's our relationships with our family, our friends, co-workers, all that fun stuff. So, as it's in retrograde, meaning, kind of being flipped on its head, we can expect more tense sort of lessons with the people around us. And I am certainly feeling it, especially for me. It feels that it's happening a lot in the workplace, but also I think a little bit in friendships too. I'm feeling the intensity. Does that make sense? But yeah, just I feel a lot of lessons from my past are coming up, and I feel like I'm being tested around certain things. And yeah, I'm still trying to figure out where I want to go with certain people and stuff, but that's another story for another time. But during this time, I really want people to really look within and really start identifying whether or not you're projecting your wounds onto others, whether or not you're telling yourself false narratives. I really need people to look at this area because honestly, personally for me, I am tired of being the scapegoat. I am tired of people projecting projecting that I've had this easy life, that I've had it good, that I've never had any challenges. And I'll tell you what, since it feels like forever, my family has been put on this high pedestal because my dad and mum both worked. They're both together and they were financially stable. And the funny thing is, my mum just worked in a factory. My dad is a truck driver. Like, it's nothing fancy. We're not millionaires. We're not millionaires. We're just a middle class family that works really hard. My parents worked really hard, especially my dad, right? But the thing is, my family and we attracted a lot of people who didn't have the same sort of income that we were bringing in. And unfortunately, for the people around us, some of them were sort of in single parent homes and stuff like that. And there was just like a lot of issues around financial stability. And yeah, I feel that I personally have attracted a lot of people who come from families that had it tough when it comes to that sort of stuff. And yeah, basically, from what I can see, is they're going through lack consciousness or poverty consciousness lessons. Whereas my family, we're going through different types of lessons that people aren't really aware of that. And yeah, for a big chunk of my life, I will have people saying things like, yeah, you're so lucky. You're so lucky you have both parents. You're so lucky your dad, makes the money he does. You're so lucky this, you're so lucky that. And to be honest, I can tell it's not coming from a good place. It's coming from a place of jealousy. It's very obvious to me. It's coming from a place of resentment, bitterness, and jealousy. And it always made me feel bad because I was like, well, I don't know what to do about this. And it also made me uncomfortable to share things, as in share good news, share positive news. It's like I felt like I wasn't allowed to be happy. I wasn't allowed to enjoy anything because it would make the people around me feel uncomfortable. Now, I want to sort of also slide in while I'm talking about this. So many people around me, so many friends, people I grew up in school and outside of school as well. They, yeah, projected or painted this picture that I had it easy, I had it good. And, I even had this one person that always say, you should be more grateful. You should be more grateful, Teo. You need an attitude of gratitude. And this is the thing, these people didn't realize. the disruption in my family home, the disruptive family dynamics that my siblings and I were brought up in. Yes, we were financially stable, but that does not equate to a happy family home. And I need people to stop projecting the idea, the story in their mind that other people, the people who had a bit more money than their family dynamics or, their circumstances, are much better and happier. Because guess what, guys? Guess what the reality is? Everybody has some sort of challenge or struggle that they're going through. Just because one family might have the money, it doesn't mean they've got all the other bits together. You know what I mean? And this is the ignorance. This is human ignorance and human foolishness. So let me lay down the law or, get you acquainted with the truth. For those who projected that I had this easy life and, everything's fine and we're so lucky, guess what? My dad was a heavy alcoholic. Not only that, he was an angry alcoholic. He would come home and pick fights with my mum. And this is the funny thing. I had this one person who used to always harp on in my ear about, your mum's so lucky. Your mum doesn't realize how lucky she is. And there were moments I really wanted to turn around and be like, smack this person in the face. Like, I'd be like, you have no idea what my mum has to put up with. And yes, I know my mum, is a little bit, I wouldn't say naughty, but she's a bit mischievous and she doesn't really listen to my dad at times, but she's a free spirit, right? But my mum did not deserve some of the things that my dad did. Like, my dad would come home and pick fights with her and scream at her, talk down on her, like her job was to cook and clean for him. And I get my dad was angry, tired. My dad worked really hard. I get that. But he had no right to treat her that way. No woman would be okay with that. I would not be okay with that if my husband came home and yelled at me because I didn't cook for him. That's not cool, guys. And while I'm on the topic of my parents, I actually love my parents very much. And I want people to know my parents were never abusive, like physically abusive to any of us, me and my siblings. And my dad was also not physically abusive towards any of us. He was just verbally abusive, more so to my mum than us kids. But yeah, he would come home acting like a tyrant. He would sometimes even throw things across the house. It was an intense home environment. It was not a healthy home environment. I get trauma and anxiety. I have trauma and anxiety from those experiences. You don't know how many times I would hear my dad come home because it's very obvious he would stomp in the house, he would slam the door, and then I would be like, Dad's home. And then I would run to the room and I would gather my brother and sister into the room who were younger than me. And then we just hide in there and just have to put the blankets over our head and try to block our ears because this is what we had to go through. We had to hear our parents or my dad screaming at mom, and then my mom being feisty as well. She's not gonna back down. She started screaming at him, and then it's just like scream, 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 scream. It was a really hectic home environment. It was not fun, especially for us super sensitive kids. Anyway, I just wanted to slide that in there because, yeah, I feel like people have this, vision of my family being perfect and happy and no issues. But no, there is issues. And yeah, my dad was an angry alcoholic and it was not cool, half the stuff he did. And, I even saw him punching holes through walls. I even remember when my mum called the cops on him and the cops would come to the front door. There was a lot of domestic fights in the home. So when people say to me, you should be grateful, you've got it lucky. I'm just like, man, you don't even know the truth. You don't even know the truth. So my mission in this video is to say, stop projecting, guys. Stop projecting your wounds onto others. Stop assuming that other people have it better than you. And it's not fair. You know what's not fair? That you're projecting, that you're accusing everyone else of having good but you, that you're playing the victim, like you're the only one that's struggled in this life. Man, sometimes I think I'm actually surrounded by so many people who play the victim. and they go on about all these different life challenges, how hard it is. And then they sort of project that you wouldn't understand her because you've had it easy. You wouldn't understand. Your life's been good. And what these people don't realize is that I could turn around in an instant and list every single thing that has happened from childhood all the way up to now. 40 years of life experience. And the thing is, people don't realize, because I keep quiet, I keep silent, I'm observing. People don't realize that I can shut them down with the truth in an instant. And people don't realize that I'm not playing victim. I could be like them. I could be like all you guys and play the victim. Be like, oh, it's not fair, blah, blah, blah. And then I could, remain stuck and never move forward. But I choose not to. I choose not to. Right? And then you're all looking at me like, why is Tayo so lucky? Why does Tayo always get this and that? It's like, yeah, because I choose to move forward. I choose to pick myself up because I choose to change. I choose not to be weighed down by all the challenges. I choose to find a way out. And yes, I don't have the exact same experiences as some of you guys. Yes, I know some of you guys have some pretty heavy and hard sort of lessons to go through. But I've had my own versions of heavy and hard lessons too. And you have to understand, we're all here to learn different things. And it's time that you stop comparing. It's time that you stop looking outward and looking inward. And start asking yourself, why am I projecting this? What wound is it that I need to work on? So, for those of you who are going through poverty and lack consciousness, stop looking at others and go within and figure out, okay, so I've got these wounds about money and self worth and things. What can I do to change it? What can I do to change it? Okay, I've got these wounds about, I feel like, they're better than me and it's not fair. What wounds do you have inside? What sort of insecurities are you having? What is it that you feel that you're lacking that this other person has? I just want people to really look within, because how else are you going to change if you're never willing to look at your own shadows, if you're never willing to admit that you've got these issues? And I find it's really funny. I had this one person who projected that I'm so lucky and I'm so privileged and my dad gives me everything. And the weird thing is, this person actually is the one that gets things from her family all the time. And I was just like, I'm so confused here because I actually don't get half the stuff that you get from your family. And I've been working hard for my money and I pay my credit card debts and my bills and stuff. And you're the one that's sort of got issues. Like, why are you reversing it on me? Like, I don't get it. But yeah, it's just a funny world we live in where there's all people kind of projecting. Oh, I'll tell you another one. I know that there's a lot of people who thought that my husband and I made money from our wedding, and I kind of just laughed because I was like, number one, our wedding was really expensive. Number two, we did not make any money. Instead, we put in extra money. Like, we put in our own money. I put in my own money, my husband put in his own money, and then we used the, money that we received from the wedding gifts to pay off the reception and stuff. But there was no money making. And I always find it interesting. I actually find it interesting that people are so focused on making money at weddings. It's like, a wedding isn't about making money, guys. A wedding is a celebration of love and it's a party for all. So yeah, I just found it really interesting because there's people who think that I made money. It's like, no, we were in debt, or at least I was in debt because I used my credit card for a lot of things. But having said that, I managed to pay that off all now, but all of it now. But yeah, I just need people to stop projecting. Like, seriously, you need to stop making it, painting this thing where everyone's got it easier and your life is so hard, because nobody likes victims here. And my channel is all about moving you from victim to victor. Victim to victor. Okay. Anyway, that is my random rant. My energy levels are low. If you can't tell, it's just been a heavy, heavy time. And honestly, work has really drained the crap out of me because of all this tension and conflict that really is not my problem, but I'm being dragged into things that I don't really want to be dragged into. But I guess I only have a few more months to sort of stick it out. But a part of me does wonder if I should just leave earlier because I really can't deal with this anymore. I'm so sick of it. I'm sick of people projecting. I'm sick of working environments where people are very competitive when I'm not. I'm not a competitive person. I don't like playing games, but I feel like, yeah. Anyway, I'm just ranting on and on now. Bye, guys. Take care of yourselves. Venus retrograde. I know it's hard, but hopefully you'll overcome the lessons and rise above it all. Peace.